Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making these cute little scarecrows. They are what I consider a no-sew body pattern, which means we are going to start with the arms, then we're going to do the legs, then we're going to move on to the head, work our way down, attach the arms, work on the body, add the eyes and a little bit of stuffing, add the legs, finish them off and close. And then we'll have a little bit of embroidery and we'll have to make the hat and flower and we'll tack those down. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 14 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. All right, we are going to begin with the arms, and you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'm going to be making a knot with a loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, and chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. Now going over top of our tail, row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull your tail to tighten up that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we're going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 16. So 1 single crochet for 1, 2 single crochets, and then an increase for 3 and 4. And then we'll repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and our last increase, 15 and 16. Row 4, we are just going to do 16 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Row 5, 16 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Row 6, 16 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Row 7, we're going to do what I call a double crochet cluster of 4 and then 15 single crochets around for a total of 16. So for your double crochet cluster, you're going to yarn over, go into your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1, yarn over, go in that same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. So that's 2, yarn over, go in the same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, and one more time, yarn over in that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. So that's 4 times, and now we're going to grab our yarn and go through all the loops on the hook, and there is our little cluster stitch for the thumb. And now we're going to do 15 single crochets around, but I'm going to count this as stitch 1 and my first single crochet as 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and our last one, 16. Row 8, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, and repeat that around. 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, and our last decrease for 12. Row 9, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So 1 decrease for 2, and repeat that around. 3 decrease for 4, 5 decrease for 6, 7, and then on our last decrease we're only going to do halfway, so we're going to go in and grab our loops, and then we're going to leave them on our hook so we can do our color change. So I'm going to cut my old color and then grab your new color. So this is going to be your sleeve color now. And we're just going to tie that to our old color nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. And I like to tie mine 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to grab that new color and you're going to pull it through your last stitch to finish off that 8th decrease of the previous row. Now rows 10 to 18 are going to be 8 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 9 rows of 8. 8 times 9 is 72. So I'm going to do 72 single crochets and then flip my marker every time I hit a set of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and flip your marker and keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flip your marker, keep on counting, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flip your marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Whoop. Flip your marker, keep on counting. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, flip your marker, keep on counting, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Flip your marker, keep on counting. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, flip your marker, keep on counting. 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, flip your marker, keep on counting. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. Now don't cut your string yet. We're going to need that for closing. And take your stitch marker out and grab your stuffing. All right, so grab about a palm-sized amount. We're going to split that just not quite in half. So a little bit more on the one side. And then we want to stick the first big bunch into the bottom of the hand. You want your hand to be kind of on the rounder, more firmer side. And if you need to, oh, they're not working good today, grab your scissors and you'll want to push that down inside. There we go. That's how it should work. So once you have your hand how you want it, whether you want it round or kind of on the flatter side, and then you're going to take a smaller amount and you're just going to kind of line the inside from the whole sleeve from the top to the bottom, so it's not very full, but you want it to be even from top to bottom. You just don't want a little lump in there. So you want this to be flat and this to be kind of firm. Then you're going to get your hook back in. And now we're going to do 3 single crochets across. So we're going to start in the next stitch. And then we're going to go in the last stitch. And we're underneath both the V's on each side. And we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1 through the front and the back of the next stitch. 2 and through the front and the back of the next stitch. 3. And then you're just going to tie that off. Now, we're not sewing these on, but I still do something with the end, so leave yourself a little bit of a tail. So if you've just finished your first arm, I will put a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second arm. And if you're done your second arm, just keep on watching and we will move on to the next part. Okay, now we're going to start on the leg. And again, you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making a knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook. Grab my yarn. Chain 1 Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. Now going over top of our tail, row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, and repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24, Row 6, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 7, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 8, we are going to do 6 single crochets, 6 invisible decreases, and 6 single crochets. So we're going to start with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now for an invisible decrease, you're going to be grabbing the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So you're going to grab that front loop, down, up, through that V, grab the next single crochet front loop, down, up, and through that V, and then you're going to grab your yarn, go through the 2 front loops, grab your yarn again, and go through the 2 loops on your hook. So we'll do that slow one more time. So that's 1. So front loop, grab your yarn and pull through, grab your yarn and pull through again. So that's 2, invisible decrease, that's 3, invisible decrease. I'm not good at them either. This is why I don't do them often. That's 4, invisible decrease, that's 5, invisible decrease, that's 6. Then we should have 6 single crochets left to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Row 9, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 6 invisible decreases, and 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and there are invisible decreases. Remember the front loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, And now 3 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, and on our third one we're just going to go in and pull up our loop because we're going to change to the pant color now. So I'm going to cut my old color, grab the new color. Alright, and I'm going to be using brown for my pants. So again, you're going to tie that new color to the old color, nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can, 2 or 3 times. Then you're going to grab that new color, pull it through to finish off that last single crochet of the previous row. Rows 8 to 17 are going to be 12 single crochets all the way around, and again I'm going to do those consecutively, so that is 8 rows of 12. 12 times 8 is 96, so I'm going to do 96 single crochets and then flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Flip your marker and keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Flip your marker, keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flip your marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flip your marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, flip your marker, keep on counting, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, flip your marker, keep on counting, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, flip your marker, keep on counting, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. All right, now we're going to add some stuffing. So get that ready. And what you want to do is get a large amount down into the foot. And you want to push the sides of the feet kind of out. Remember that where you did your invisible decreases, that is the front. So that's where you want to focus most of your point on your foot. So I like to kind of just scoop my finger up like this on the inside and get it out to the front. Just be careful not to spread these stitches while you're doing it. And then I'll put a little bit down into the back of the foot. So it's fairly firm, and the more you stuff, the bigger it'll be. And then you're just going to grab a little bit to put in the top, about 2/3 of the leg. So you want your foot firm, and then as you graduate down, you want this to kind of come as a triangle. So you've got quite a bit in the bottom, but nothing up in the top, probably 2 or 3 rows. And then you can pinch that down to close it. So let's put our hook back in. And we're going to have 6 single crochets across, but we're going to do 2 single crochets, an increase, and 2 single crochets. So again, in that next stitch, and then the last stitch on the other side. So single crochet for 1, single crochet for 2, increase for 3 and 4, single crochet for 5, and single crochet for 6. And remember, you're going through both the front and the back. Then you're going to just tie that off, and again leave yourself a little bit of a tail. We don't do much with these strings, but we do tie them on the inside to secure them. Now, if you've finished your first leg, I will be leaving a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second leg. And if you've done your second leg, just keep on watching and we'll continue on to the next part. Okay, now we are going to start at the top of the head, and again, you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'm making my knot with the loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, chain 1, and remember that does not count as a stitch, that just attaches our yarn to our loop. Now going over top of the tail, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then pull that tail if you need to close up that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases. So that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. Increase, 1 and 2. Increase, 3 and 4. Increase, 5 and 6. Increase, 7 and 8. Increase, 9 and 10. And our last increase, 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1 and an increase for 2 and 3. And repeat that around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4. Repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, increase, 41 and 42. Row 8, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 9, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 10, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 11, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 12, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 13, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 14, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 15, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and our last decrease for 36. Row 16, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 17, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Row 18, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. Row 19, we're going to be going in the front loops. And if you've never done that before, for the front loops, we are going to come down underneath our loop, and we're going to come up through the middle of the V. So normally we go down through both. For the front loop, we're going to come up through the middle. All right, and I did single crochets. You can do halves or doubles if you want a longer little frill around your neck. And all we're going to do is put 3 single crochets in every front loop all the way around. So down and up through that V, 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 in the same stitch. And again. 1, 2, 3. And again in the next front loop. 1, 2, 3. Again in the next front loop only. 1, 2, 3. again, 3 single crochets in the front loop. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll just show you what you should be seeing on the other side. You should be seeing these back loops, which is very important because the next row we are going to be going in these back loops. So again, in the front loop, 1, 2, 3. Again, in the next front loop, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop counting. We'll just go around here. Make sure you get through that hole. See, I split my yarn there. You want to make sure you're getting the whole strand of yarn. You may want to check once in a while the back to make sure you're getting that line around the edge. Should be getting close to the end here now. And then I got one more. If you're not sure, just put the extra one in anyways. And we will, we got to make sure we have 18 stitches on the back. And so this is where we want to put our we want to tie this and join it off here. Or join and tie, I guess. Leave yourself a bit of a tail. Our tie-off knot should be strong enough, but we will want to bring this string into the inside. So let's just grab our darning needle right now. We'll thread that on. And I might just go around this one stitch just because you can kind of see it's the back and no one's really going to notice. But if you want to kind of even out that row of stitching, you can just go around there one time. And I'm just going to come back and catch the other side. And then we're going to just come down, and we want to come underneath this back loop because we're going to start in this back loop here. So we want to make sure we're under it so we're not hiding it. So just come down, under, and then anywhere, anywhere in the head here, just to secure it on the inside of it. You can weave it in better, but there's really not necessary. You can tie it on too if you want, but because it's amigurumi and you're not going to see that side, I usually just kind of leave the inside a mess. So we should have something that looks like this now. Okay, now you're going to grab your shirt color, and this time you are going to have to make a knot with a loop on the end. So I just fold my yarn over, wrap it around my finger, bring that loop down, around, and through, give that a pinch, and then I just slide the knot up, and we want that loop to be just a little bit bigger than our hook. You're going to grab your little head now, and this is going to be our starting stitch right here, our first back loop in the row. Here's your last one, so here's your first one. And we're just going to put that yarn on our hook, and we're going to bring it through that first back loop and chain 1. Now that's just attaching our yarn to the loop. We're not going to count that as a stitch. And now we're going to go around in all these back loops, and we should have 18 single crochets around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you notice I'm folding this brim around so that we can see those stitches better. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And don't worry if you have an extra stitch there. Remember, I went a little over on the last row. And then you're just going to come to this first V here that was made underneath that, and that's where you're going to start your next stitch of your next row. Okay, we're going to do our arms next. So grab those and get them handy. Row 21, we're going to start with 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to grab our first arm, and remembering that this is the back, we want to make sure that our strings and our thumbs are, I can't grab it, there we go, and our thumbs are facing towards the front. And we're going to do 3 single crochets through the arm and through the body. So into our arm, and then the next stitch of the body. So that's, whoopsie, that's 1. Through the next stitch of the arm and the next stitch of the body. That's 2. Through the last stitch of the arm and the next stitch of the body. That's 3. And then we are going to do 6 single crochets across the front. Make sure you're in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to grab your other arm. And remember, now this is the front. Here's our back. We want to make sure that the arm strings and thumbs are facing the front. And we're going to do 3 single crochet. Oh, this string. 3 single crochets through the arm and the next stitch of the body. 1 through the arm. The next stitch of the body, 2 through the arm, and the next stitch of the body, 3. And then we should have 3 single crochets left to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3. And then we should look like this. This is the front. Okay, row 22, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, and then repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8. And when you get to these strings, make sure you keep them on the outside because that's where we'll need them for later. 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 23, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, oops, I didn't get under both that, 23, and 24. Row 24, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 25, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 26, we are going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 27, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 28, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and on our 36th one, we're not going to finish off that single crochet because we're going to change now to the pant color. So I'm going to cut my old color off, and I'm going to grab my pant color. And then again, I'm going to tie that nice and tight, as close to the hook as I can get it. And then you're going to grab that new color and pull it through to finish off that last stitch. All right, row 29, we're going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. All right, for the next row, we're going to be going in the front loops again. So if you remember, you're going to catch that very front loop and you're going to come up through the middle of the V's. So for row 30, in the front loops, 36 single crochet all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And then you're going to slip stitch into this next stitch. You're going to chain 1, and then you're going to fold that lip down to reveal all your back loops, so you're ready for the next row. So all these back loops is where we're going to be going in the next row. All right, so for row 31, in the back loops, 36 single crochets all the way around. So you're going to be starting in this very first, oh, there's too many strings here for me to, so in this very first back loop right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And you may have to dig for that last one if you started one over too much. So just dig down in there and get that 36 stitch. Now for our next stitch, remember that we did that chain one from the last row down. So when you go into your next stitch, you want to make sure you're not in the chain one and that you're in that first single crochet. And we're going to do, for row 32, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 33, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 34, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and our last decrease, 24. All right, we're going to add the eyes now, and maybe a little bit of stuffing. So we're going to flatten our little guy out. So we're going to use our arms to kind of make our center. Get your eyes ready. And we are going to count from our starting loop right there, and we are going to go down 10 rows. So our starting loop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then down just between 10 and 11, we're going to mark those rows. Just kind of have a look and see if we're centered. I think center might be 1 over, right about there. All right, so I'm going to mark that with an actual pin, and I'm going to be going right in a stitch so that I have a hole on each side of my pin. So my pin's in this stitch. I have a hole right here and a hole right here. So now we're going to grab our eye and we're going to count over 4 holes. So starting at that first hole right beside that pin, 1, 2, 3, and then into that 4th hole. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th hole. And then we're just going to have a quick little look, see if we still feel like they're centered. I think we're okay here. If you're happy with it, you're going to flip them to the other side and put your backs on. And if you bring that eye post up through the neck, it's going to make it a lot easier. And just fold it up in there through the neck hole and then click them on. And do the same thing for the other eye. Use your thumb to push it down and around up into the neck hole. And then if you want, you could add a little bit of stuffing now and stuff as you go. I'm going to do a few more rows without stuffing just because I need the space to be able to let this guy flip around a bit. And our next row, we will be adding the legs, so you might want to get those handy so they're ready to grab. We're going to put our hook back in. Now for this next row, if you're left-handed, you might be doing this row backwards. So I'm going to be starting with 8 and I'm going to be ending with 4. You might be starting with 4 and ending with 8. So for row 35, we are going to start with 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you should be pretty much even with the middle of your arm. If you're not, add a stitch or take a stitch out. Now you're going to grab a leg, and you want the point toe of your foot to be facing the body. Otherwise, you're going to be sewing them on backwards. And we're going to do 6 single crochets through the leg and through the body. So into that first stitch of the leg, and then the next stitch of the body. So that's 1 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 2 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 3 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 4 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 5 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body. That's 6. And then we're going to flip our strings to the inside. And now we're going to grab our other leg. Again, make sure the toe is pointed towards the body. And we're going to do 6 single crochets across the leg and the body. And make sure you're in the next stitch and not the same stitch. It's really easy to go in the exact same stitch. So through the leg, and then the next stitch of the body. That's 1, and you might have to give that a little tug to tighten that up. Through the leg, next stitch of the body. Whoopsie, that's 2. Through the leg, next stitch of the body. That's 3. Through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 4 through the leg, and the next stitch of the body, that's 5, and then through the leg, and the next stitch of the body. Darn string. That's 6, and again, flip that string to the inside. And now we should have 4 single crochets left, or whatever you ended up adjusting from the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's tie those legs together. And you're just going to grab each tail, and you're going to loosely tie them so they're along the edge of your little guy, but you don't want to tie them so tight that they're squished up together like this. So just loosely tie that, just so they're out of your way, but they're also secure in there. And I'm just going to give those a little cut. Maybe I'll add some stuffing now too. We only have about 3 rows left, so if you want to join me in adding the stuffing, let's do that now. If you've already stuffed, this should just take a couple minutes. So when you're stuffing him, you want to get the head nice and firm. So when we, if we do any shaping or pulling in on the eyes, sorry, all you can see is white here. And as you're stuffing, just kind of protect the neck You don't want to be stretching the stitches around the neck. That's where you're most likely to start seeing your stuffing. You want to make sure you get up nice and high and then protect that neck a little bit by just keeping your hand around there. I'm going to put one more in the head. And then we'll put a little bit in the body. I could put more in there, but let's do that for now. And then just a little bit in the body. The body doesn't have to be as firm. But you will want to put a lot of stuffing in at the bottom just before you close so that he's got a little bit of a bum to kind of sit on. I'm going to stop there and add the rest of my stuffing at the end. So let's get our hook back in. For row 36, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3. And repeat that around. 4, 5, and a decrease for 6. Oh, watch you don't get stuffing. 7, 8, and a decrease for 9. 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. 13, 14, and a decrease for 15. 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. Row 37, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and our last decrease for 12. Now we only have 1 more row left, so if you need to add any more stuffing, you're going to want to do it now. And this is where you're going to want to make sure you push it out to the sides on the bottom. And you want to have this part flat. So you want it to come out on the sides, but flat on the bottom. I think that's okay, right how he is. So let's close him up. Our last row. Row 38. 6 decreases. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, 6 decreases. And then we're just going to slip stitch over into the next stitch and tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail so we can close up the very bottom. I'm going to take my stitch marker out now. Alright, so let's grab our darning needle now. And we're going to thread on our tail. And all we're going to do is weave in and out of this top loop of our last row. So just back and forth till we're all the way around. And then we're just going to pull that tight, close up the hole there, and then I just find the next stitch over, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And then we'll just put that down inside, close to the center as we got, and then bring it out the back somewhere. And give that a trim. And now we're going to do the arm strings. So grab one of your arm tails, doesn't matter which one. They both are done exactly the same way. And what you're going to do is find where your last stitch was, where you attached the arm, and you're going to go down into that hole. And then you're going to go out the back in the center of the neck somewhere. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other one. Thread that end on. Find your last stitch where you attached, so right in there. And then you're going to come out in the same place that your other string came out. Oh, the light isn't showing very good. And now we're going to tie those strings one time, keeping track of the ends. Wrap them around the neck. Flip your guy over. Now we're going to pull on those strings, and these arms and knots are going to come in and forward a little bit. And then you decide how much forward you want them to be. Remember, they will relax a little bit over time. When you're happy with where they are, you're just going to give that a tie. Then we'll thread them back on and put them out through the body. So you're going to go back in that same hole that you came out of, and then just anywhere out the body. And we'll cut those strings off. All right, now we're going to do a little overall bib. So get your pant color, and we're going to tie a knot with a loop on the end because we have to attach this piece of yarn. And what we're going to do is we want to find our center stitch. So I'm going to say this is my center stitch right here, and I want to go over 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put our hook in from the outside to the inside around those 2 loops. Get rid of this now. We're going to put our yarn on. We're going to pull that through, and we're going to do 1 chain just to attach that yarn. And now we're going to do 7 single crochets across. So I'm going to do it down here, so I hope you can see it's not too far away. So starting in that same stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and I'm going to go over this tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to turn our guy around. Whoopsie. Don't worry about if your end's sticking out like that. Don't worry about that. We'll just cut it off later. And now we're going to go in this next stitch right here, and we're going to do 7 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and get in that last one, 7. Now we're going to turn them around again. And again, starting in that first stitch right there, we're going to do 7 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to probably have to dig in that last one, 7. So you should have 3 rows of 7 going up to make the bib. And now we are going to chain 13-ish. We want our chain to come all the way back to the center lip of the overalls in the back. So start by chaining around 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now let's reach it around here and see if it meets the back. And that is almost perfect. Could have maybe done 12, but I'm going to stay with 13. Then we're just going to do a slip stitch in the center somewhere. So I'm just slip stitching that to attach it. And then we're going to do 13 chains again to go around the other side. Or whatever you did on this side, you're going to match on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Flip it over. Be careful not to twist your chain if you can. And then we're just going to go in this very corner stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. And then we're going to tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail to kind of weave in. All right, so for weaving the tail in, we're going to do this the easy way, and we're going to take the straps off so we can see the back side, and then we'll just weave that tail somewhere around the first row. So you're just going to come in around these top stitches. I'm going to go down to the second one because they're a little bit looser and easier to get into. Try and stay on the back side if you've never weaved an end in. You don't want to see it on the other side, and you don't want to pull this really tight, so you want it to be nice and loose, keeping the same tension across. Then you're going to go back under those stitches and come out. Now I'm only going to do it the 2 times here. You can do it as many times as you want, whatever you feel makes it secure. I guess we could put these back on. Oh yeah, I need to cut my little end here. This was my starting tail. All right, let's bring the eyes in now. So let's grab a scrap of the matching color for the face. And we're going to start by going down in the center somewhere between the eyes. I'm in the same row that I put my eye posts in. And we're going to come over to the inside, straight across to the inside of the eye. Leave a little bit on this side for tying. I'm going to wrap around the eye. You don't have to go around the eye. You can skip that part. We're just going to go down one row. So if you're not wrapping the eye, you'll continue right here. So we went in there. We're going to come down around into this eye. So we're just on the inside bottom. We're going to match that on the other side. I'm going around the eye here. If you're not going around, remember, you're just going to come in here instead. So now I'm matching this stitch. I'm going down right on the inside stitch of the eye where I started, and then coming back out where my tail is. Now I gotta make sure I got the right one. So now you're going to tie these once. You want to keep track of your ends. So this is, and now you're going to pull these strings and push your eyes kind of down and together at the same time. So, just be careful that you don't bring them in too much because they will look a little cross-eyed. And once you're happy with them, we're just going to give them a tie. And then we'll thread those back on and put them inside the head and out the back. So right down in that same place that you started, and then out the back somewhere. I'll give those a cut. You may have to, if you got a hole here from where you tied, you may have to just kind of play with your stitches a little bit and fix that hole. All right, now we're going to do the accents under the eyes. So I'm just going to be grabbing my white. And again, we're going to go in the same row that we attached our eyes into. So I'm going right down on the outside, all the way over to the other side, matching that same row across. And you want to have equal amounts on either side. Then you can just kind of play with them, see where you want them. I'm going to be putting mine under. And I'm just going to go now over to like about a 45-degree angle on the bottom side of the eye. And then I'm just going to come out in the center. Don't pull this one too hard because you don't want your white to go underneath of your eye. And we'll thread on the other side and do the exact same thing but in reverse. So in that same stitch, around a 45-degree angle that you put this side in, and then up, out through the same stitch you started, or ended, I guess. Gently pull that up. Kind of snug around the eye, but don't pull it so hard that it goes under. And then we're going to lightly tie this. And then put it out back through the head. So thread it back on. And back out the same place your yarn is, and just out the back somewhere. And you want to pull this one gently so you don't pull your thread under the eye. So very gently. I guess it's already under there, so I don't have to do anything else. And you're just going to pull this back out to hide that knot. And then give it a cut as well. Don't pull on that one. If you end up having a little piece of yarn showing, you can just bring your needle in and then sweep across and you'll get rid of that. All right, and now eyebrows. I'm going to be using black for the eyebrows. And we're going to go somewhere around the inside of the eye, and I'm only going to go up one row and then match that on the other side. So I'm one row up just on the inside of the eyes. And now you can kind of play with it. Just like you did the accents, you can make him have really droopy eyes. Maybe he's got an evil little look. I'm just going to go about like this, just one row down. So I'm going to count over 4 holes, including the one that I'm in right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to drop down a row. Then I'm going to come up somewhere between my eyebrows. And I like to dig down and grab a chunk of stuffing as I come up, just in case you can see the black yarn underneath your stitches. And again, you're going to pull that gently because you don't want to tighten the eyebrow too much. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So thread your other end on. And we counted over 4 holes, including the one we're in. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down. I'm also 1 hole between the eye and where I'm going in, if that helps you. So, and then grab a chunk of stuffing around and come out where your other tail is. Gently pull that one. You might have to tug on them a little bit to make them the same length. And then you're going to gently tie your ends together. Tighten as you go. I think I need one more. Whoop, no, it's sliding a bit. Okay, and thread those ends back on. Go back in that same hole and out the back. Now you're gently going to pull this one too, because you don't want to tighten them eyebrows. Just as soon as that knot goes through, you're going to stop pulling. Don't pull on this end either, just like you did the accents. We can fix this by pulling our stitches around a bit, and then we'll just sweep that black yarn away. All right, we're going to do the nose now, so grab whatever color you've decided. And we're going to start our nose one row down from where we put our posts before. So right in the center, one row down. And then I want to do, I just want to do a little tiny triangle. So I'm going to go down 1, 2 rows. And just on either side. So just like that, just a little triangle, nice and even in the center. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to come up. Let's come up here actually. Then all our stitches can go down. You're going to leave a little bit of a tail for tying. Then you're going to go down into the center pin, and I'm going to do two rows here. So that's once. And coming back up is a second time. And then I'm going to go over to my other pin and do that 2 strands. You can just kind of guide your yarn where you want it. So back into the center and where it came out of before. Or my second one. Now you can do another one if you want. I'm going to leave mine at 2. Oh my goodness. I think my eyes were broken there. Actually, you know what? I am going to do 3. So I'm going to do one more on this side. This must be a little bit thinner yarn or something. And then one on the other side. So I have 3 strands on each side for the nose. And try and keep your tension the same for all of them, because if you do pull one tighter than the other, it's going to squish down and look funny. Then you're just going to come out where you started. It looks more like an upside down heart than a triangle, but whatever. So then we're just going to loosely tie or lightly tie those ends. Remember, you don't want to pull them stitches. Thread our ends back on. And then somewhere out the back or side or wherever you end up wanting to go. And then again, you want to gently pull that through. And you don't want to pull on the end here, just like the other 2 times. We'll sweep that away. All right, we're going to do the mouth now. And I'm just going to mark mine out so I know where I'm going. So starting right on this row where our nose ended, I'm going to count over 5 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go in that 5th hole. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just over from where I ended my nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just kind of have a look. See if that is how you want your mouth. I think I'm okay. If you're looking for evenness, I'm just also just on the outside of where my eyebrows ended. And then I'm going to take another pen and I'm going to go down 2 rows in the center under my nose. So this is 1, 2, and in that second one in the center, that's where the bottom of my mouth is going to be. So I'm just going to start somewhere away from this line of my mouth. So maybe right here. I'm going to come up where that first pin is. Make sure to leave a tail for tying. Then I'm going to go all the way over to my other pin. And I'm going to come out, I lost it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to come out on my bottom pin right there. Make sure you are in a hole and you're not catching any thread around there. So once you have that, a little bit of tension on there, you're going to come underneath that thread, around, and then you're going to go back in that hole, and you're either going to come over here and tie, or you're going to come around here if you want to do little stitches. So his mouth's going to come down like this, and I'm going to do stitches, so I'm going to come up. I'm going to come up 1 hole in front of where my mouth starts. So we got a couple things we got to watch here. First, we want to make sure that this is tight. This stitch we went around is nice and tight. So it holds our mouth where we want it. Then we're just going to do some stitches. And you can just make them as random as you want. I'm just going over, skipping kind of a hole, and then going down. And then maybe I'll make this one wider. Then I need a shorter one down here. So I'm kind of 1 hole under where my bottom of my nose is. You don't want to pull these too tight. So I guess we're having 3 here. So I guess I'll go here. And now I want to try and match what I did here on this side. I think that one could have been longer, but so I'm under the nose. Nope, maybe that's right there under the nose. I mean, it's supposed to be scattered stitching, so really the less perfect it is, the better. So we're just matching these stitches. So I'm 1 hole over from the nose on this side. Maybe here. And then I gotta make a short one. Or I don't got to, but I'm gonna make a short one to match this side. And then when you're done, you're just going to come out where you started. And here's a good example of why you should grab a chunk of stuffing when you're going around with black yarn. So see, we can see that little piece of black right there from my starting piece. Now, if you're happy with that, we're just going to give that a tie now. He'd also look super cute with some cheeks, but I thought, oh, with the hat and the flower and the little bib, it's already going to be a long video. So if you decide, you can always add some to him. And we'll just put that out somewhere, out the back or wherever. He's starting to come together now. All right, and another little tiny touch. We need to have a string that tied on our little burlap sack here. So I just put just a simple little bow. I did squeeze it a little bit to give him a little smaller neck. And then just tie a bow. To make it floppy or not floppy, I always have one twist funny. There we go. Good enough, and then I'm just going to cut that. Okay, we're going to do the hat now, and just keep in mind I'm using brown to match the pants. You may want to choose a different color for this if you're not using the same colors as me. And again, you can start any way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I've got my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, chain 1. Remember that that does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching my yarn to my loop. Now going over top of the tail, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail if you need to close that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, and repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 6, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 7, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 8, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, increase, 35 and 36. Row 9, we're going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 10, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and an increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, increase, 41 and 42. Row 11, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 12, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Our next row is going to be in the front loop, so remember we're going to be grabbing that first loop in the front and then coming up through the V's. So for row 13, in the front loops, we're going to be doing a 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeating that all the way around, and if my count is right, we should have 63 stitches. So front loop, 1, and an increase for 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, increase, 26 and 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, increase, 32 and 33, 34, increase, 35 and 36, 37, increase, 38 and 39, 40, increase, 41 and 42, 43, increase, 44 and 45, 46, increase, 47 and 48, 49, increase, 50 and 51, 52, increase, 53 and 54, 55, increase, 56 and 57, 58, and 59 and 60 for our increase, 61, and our last increase, 62 and 63. All right, row 14, we're going to do the exact same thing, one single crochet, one increase, repeat that all the way around. Let's just make sure we're in the next stitch. So 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, increase, excuse me, 20 and 21, I think, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, increase, 26 and 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, increase, 32 and 33, 34, increase, 35 and 36, 37, increase, 38 and 39, 40, increase, 41 and 42, 43, increase, 44 and 45, 46, increase, 47 and 48, 49, increase, 50 and 51, 52, increase, 53 and 54, 55, increase, 56 and 57, 58, increase, 59 and 60. I may have lost count, so if I'm off, just forgive me and keep going. 61, increase, 62 and 63, 64, increase, 65 and 66, 67, increase, 68 and 69, 70, increase, 71 and 72, 73, increase, 74 and 75, 76, increase, 77 and 78, 79, increase, 80 and 81, 82, increase, 83 and 84, 85, increase, 86 and 87, 88, increase, 89 and 90, 91, increase, 92 and 93, and then if you have just an extra stitch there, just go in there with whatever you're on, single or double. So I just did 94. I have 92/93 written down, but this big of a row increasing isn't going to matter. We just want to get that ruffle in there. So then you're going to slip stitch in the next stitch, tie that off. You want to leave yourself enough of a tail to weave into the brim, and then tack this down around. So I'm going to leave myself quite a bit. I'm going to take my stitch marker out, grab the darning needles. Let's do purple. We'll thread that on. And we just need to come to the inside here. So just so that we're not having this string here. So I'm going to just come down. Oh, I guess I'm going this way. Just come down on the inside here. And then this is where we'll start sewing our hat on, which I guess we could do right now. All right, so first I'm going to be pinning the hat on. So you want to grab your end string and you want that to be in the back. And don't worry about how the frills are right now. We'll fix that later. So decide if you want it to be straight. Maybe you want it to be on a tilt, far back, or nice and low. I'm going to tip mine just enough so that I can see the eyebrows. So it's kind of, well, it's pretty close to about a 45-degree angle. And then I'm just going to add a pin. And I'm putting the pin right in between where the brim of the hat and the last 2 rows of 42 single crochets went. So I'm just going to go right in there, pin the front, pin the back, put a couple on the side. Put a couple on the other side. And then we'll thread our needle back on. Somehow I ended up on the wrong side of the pin. And we're going to start by going around the stitch right where our brim and our hat meet. So we're kind of going to use this line of back loops as our guide. So we'll go around a stitch. And then we're going to go right back up in between the brim and the bottom of the hat. And then we're going to go one stitch over, come down and into the head. Now you can go up and down around every stitch. I'm going to skip about 3 stitches, 3 or 4 stitches. Then I'm going to go back up in between the brim and the hat. So I'm more tacking it down than actually sewing it, but you want to make sure you're only going around 1 stitch on the top. And then you can go down as many as you want when you go under in the head. Just make sure you're staying in that line on that row. So around a stitch, into the head, and then out a few rows up. While I'm doing this, I am just going to mention if you ever want to share anything with me, I have a link to my Facebook craft page down in the description below underneath the video. You'll see a little thing that says more. You'll have to probably click it twice. More basically opens it, and then more lets you see the whole thing when you click it the second time. Also down in there, I also have the yarn colors I use, the types, the eye size, the hook size. I have a bunch of different links. Mostly they're just copied and pasted, so they may or may not have anything to do with the project that you're looking at. I do have Instagram and TikTok, but I rarely go there. They're actually offloaded off my phone right now. That's how long it's been since I've even opened them up. But I do post videos there occasionally. If you're ever on there and want to go visit, you can leave me a comment. If you leave a link to the photo or your page in the comments, then I can come over when I'm there. Otherwise, I probably won't see anything on there. Oops, I just cheated. I went straight across on that one. So we must be getting close to where we started here. Yep, we're right there. So we'll just come back down. And then we'll tie to one of our stitches. So I'm just going to pick this stitch right here and tie a knot. So I'm tying to a stitch I sewed, not a stitch of the hat. But it shouldn't matter which way you go. I'm just used to doing it that way. Oh, it's tricky to tie and hold at the same time here. Okay. And then you can just put that on the inside somewhere, anywhere. And we'll cut that end off. All right, now we're going to make the flower, and you can begin any way you prefer. We're going to be going in the loop. So I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, and chain one. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. We're just attaching our yarn to our loop. Now going over top of the tail, row one, we're going to do 10 single crochets into this loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll just slip stitch into the next stitch and join it, and then we're going to tie that off. We don't need much of a tail. We're going to cut this off if we can later, just so it's not in our way. All right, now you're going to grab your petal color, and you will have to make a knot with the loop on the end this time, because we are going to have to attach our yarn. So you're just going to wrap around your finger, bring that loop down, around and through, give it a pinch, and then slide that knot up. And you want it just big enough to fit your hook. And you can go in anywhere you want on here. I'm going to go in my first single crochet. And we're just going to make a slip stitch or chain one, whatever you want to call this. And we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. And we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. We're going to slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then slip stitch in the next stitch. And I'm going to go just over my knot there. Whoops, what did I do? I think I yarn overed. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to slip stitch in the same stitch where I started. And then we're going to tie off and leave enough of a tail to sew this onto the hat. And we might as well do that right now. And I decided to put mine kind of on an angle, just kind of to the side of the eye here. And I'm going to put my tail down here where one of these bumps comes up, just in case you have a bit of a mess right here and you can hide it. So I am going to pin mine on. You know, I love my pins. I'm going to put about 4 in. We'll thread on our needle. I think I'm going to use the silver one this time. And just like we did the hat, you're going to come down, catch a stitch of the hat. Whoop, I got my petal pinched in there. And then we're going to come up and we're going to be going around these stitches right here, these little ones that are kind of poking out. So I'm going to come up on this side of the stitch, and then I'm going to go, oh, I got a mess. Let's cut those out. So let's get rid of those so they're not in our way. Okay, so we came up, we're in between those 2 stitches there, and we're going to go around this stitch and down. Grab a piece of the hat. And then we're going to come up between the next 2 stitches there. We're just going to do that all the way around. Make sure you're catching the hat as you're going around, and you don't want to pull too tight. You want your flower to stay flat. You don't want to cinch it up. So I'm grabbing a piece of the hat, and then I'm going to come up the next. I'm basically going in the bottom of the petals, around the stitch, and then back down. Grab a piece of the hat. Oop, not that piece. Up. We must be getting close to being all the way around here. Let's go back down here. Yeah, that's our first stitch there. I'll go down and around, and then I'll tie over here somewhere. Close to where we started. I'm not sure why that's there like that. If that happens to you, just give it a little pull. And then we'll tie that to one of our stitches. And see, that's the exact reason why I want that right where one of those bends go, so we can hide that if we need to. Although you'll probably do a better job than me, since I'm just kind of trying to get this done so you can see what to do. And then you'll pull that through. Now, I think we just got to add the hair. Okay, so for little man's hair here, all I did was I kind of decided how long I wanted the hair strands to be. So and then I'd hold it up to him. and about 3 fingers, I think is what I did, but it's a little easier to do 4, and then if you want to cut them the right size. So I'm just going to wrap around a bunch of times, probably do about 30 at first, and then if you have too many, you can always use that for around the arms, and if you have not enough, you can always make more. So you're going to cut your ends. You're going to pull these off, keeping track of this top, and then you're just going to cut the bottom. And that will give you all your little pieces. For the boy, all I did was go around the hairline, or the hat line, I should say, and I just did a loop all the way around. So I'll show you on the girl on one of the arms. So all I did was I would go around a stitch. You'll fold that yarn in half around your hook. You have to excuse me, I'm holding her and I need more hands than I have to do this. You pull it through, and then you're going to pull the end of your yarn through that loop you just made and give it a pull. If you've done any of my other ones, you know exactly what's going on. And then you probably have to trim these unless you like the look. Like, I didn't trim these, but I did cut them shorter when I was wrapping around my finger. So you'll just do the hair on the boy like that. And I can't decide if I should give her braids or not, but I think I'm gonna, just for the option, because I didn't do it on the gnome. So I need something long. What do I have? All right, I'm gonna use my phone. So I want 9 strands, 3 strands for each braid. So I'm gonna go around 9 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'll cut that bottom piece. Oh, sorry, I ran downstairs and now I'm out of breath. Okay, so you pinch that top, you want to keep track of that, and then you're going to cut this bottom. Whoops, sorry, Scarecrow. Now you should have 9 strands, all about the same length. And we're going to take 3 of them. All right, so I haven't tried this yet, so we're all doing this first time together here. I'm going to start just on the outside of her eyebrow. I think right there, nice and close to the hat. And what we want to do is get this loop on our hook, just like I showed you how we did the boy hair. We want to get that in and around, and then we'll pull that through the loop. I think I'm going to use my fingers. All right, so we need to do that 3 times. Go around the next one. Grab 3 strands of hair. I think 2 might have been better. But now I've committed to 3. Then we're going to pull that through. Yeah, I think 3 would have... Why won't it come through? There we go. Then grab those 3 strands. Actually, I guess it's 6, isn't it? Yeah, that'll work. Actually, that's kind of cute like that, too, if you want to give her long hair, isn't it? You have to make a lot of strands, though. And then we need to do our 3rd one. So I'm just going back another stitch. Grab my last 3 strands. And then we'll pull those through. And then we gotta braid them. I'm assuming everyone knows how to braid, but if you don't, you just cross over, cross over. You're taking the outside one and crossing them over. If you can get this between your legs and squeeze your body, this will be a lot easier. So let's see how long. So I'm just going to make it to her right about where her head and her body meet. And then we're going to have to wrap something around there. So where's my little extra strings? And I'll be redoing this probably so it's tighter, because look at how the bottom is. But just for you guys to see. Actually, you know what would be cute? Why didn't I think of this? A little accent color for a bow. Which I think I might have done that on my elf, now that I think about that. So I'm just going to take my pink, and now I'm going to wrap that and make a bow. Oh yeah, that's going to look real cute. Oops. Look at that. For some reason, every time I tie a bow, I have to flip it upside down for it to look proper. And then you just slowly make that a little bit smaller. And then once you have it the size you want, that's a little big, but and cut off the bottom. Oh gosh, that is cute. And you can either trim these ends or leave them like that. It might look funny with all these if they're long, but okay, so I'm gonna finish this off and say goodbye. And don't forget, if you've left me a donation using the thanks button at the bottom of this video, stick around to the very end of this video where I'll have your name listed as one of my super thanks friends. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.